Hey, what's up, Nerd Fam? This is your boy Gershon. I want to welcome you to Enter the Nerd. This video is kind of a two-pronged topic. They both are related, but they aren't necessarily the same thing. First, starting off with Blade, or the lack of Blade in the MCU, right? Because as we have been able to see, or I'm not sure if you have, Mahershala Ali had some comments to say about there not being a Blade movie. They had him under contract. If they wanted it to happen, they would have. He's frustrated about it because he spent like 4 years doing sword training. He wanted to play this role. And let's just be honest, a lot of people love Wesley Snipes, and I think we all love what happened with the first two movies, maybe not so much the third. And obviously we saw him again in Deadpool and Wolverine, and some people even wanted him to come back. And that could have been possible for like an older Blade to talk about, you know, whatever, Next Generation, if that's what you want to do. But not like focus on Next Generation, but just maybe to have a little bit of them in there. But or just tell a different story of an aging Blade, right? Whatever. But if you want something fresh, Mahershala's excellent. He's an excellent actor. He's extremely athletic. Used to be a former basketball player. So like, and obviously he's gonna get in some really good shape. So you get like a jack of all trades when it comes to him. I'm sure it would have been excellent. I could see him with the fangs and the cool fade. I could see it happening. But the rumors were that the film was trying to go into a direction that wasn't really focused on him. Focus on his daughter and everything but him. And I'm not sure if it was him or anyone else. I just didn't agree with it. But it didn't happen. It doesn't make any sense because Ghost Rider, I'm actually like I'm 2 minutes ahead. Blade was a character that is way too easy to come up with, especially with the things that he links to, like the Midnight Suns, which obviously links to Ghost Rider, who has now officially been cast by Ryan Gosling, right? So there would have been something really cool to do with that later on had he already had a movie or one was literally on the way. He is not a hard person to write for. This leads to the second topic, which people have been putting online, that the MCU has a problem with black characters because they didn't do this movie, they canceled Wonderman, they canceled Armor Wars, and they didn't have Kang. Okay, listen, I'm with you on the Blade one. That's a travesty. It shouldn't have happened, and he's an original character, which is something that I'm always harping on, our black original character. Wonderman is not a black character. Let's stop. We know what it was. They actually had a more comic book accurate version of him in the damn show. Kang is also not a black character. Let's stop. We know what he looks like. No, he's not blue. They've shown him underneath that, right? Now, Rhodes, cool. But the show got little to no traction. They didn't say anything. It was there was nothing that they shared about it when it came to being developed. There was no hype. So we kind of knew nothing was going on with it. So I didn't get excited either way. It didn't seem like anything was happening with that show. But if we're gonna point to things about maybe the MCU having a problem with original black characters, I can actually get behind that from what they've already done. Here's what I mean by that. We can take out Blade because nothing's happened with Blade, right? But take Monica Rambeau. What have they done with her? She's a shadow of whatever she is in the comics. Made her like, you know, the daughter of a single mother. That wasn't a thing. They made her a stereotype when it comes to that. But also they don't really know what her powers are. Like, she's a dope character in the comics. She's not here. Falcon was never given a chance to, no pun intended, but the chance to spread his wings as Falcon and get his own agency, which he had in the comics. He was not Steve's sidekick, he was his partner. And in this, they just seem to be in a very big hurry to rush him into the Captain America mantle, that he doesn't get any of that. And people don't get a chance to really see how cool of a character he was. And beyond that, the biggest travesty is with Black Panther. Some people might go, wow, but I love the Black Panther movie. If you know the Black Panther character, you know that that movie is very far from it. And the fact that they also have not recast for T'Challa, meaning not the son, but the father, because of reasons, whether they say it's Chadwick Boseman or whatever, and now they're getting the son played by David Johnson, who I think is a great actor, by the way, but I think this just creates a lot more issues than it does fix anything. Because last we saw him, he was like 8. All of a sudden, he's like 30. So this is Black Panther 3 will take place in the future, what's happening here? I don't really get it. There's a lot more questions than there are answers, and some people go, well, it hasn't come out yet. That's true, but are we saying the next film? It's either he has to come from another timeline. He has to at this point, because 20-something years haven't passed since Black Panther 2, when we first met him at the end of the movie, where somehow nobody knew that he existed in Haiti somewhere, right? Just recasting T'Challa just would have fixed all of this. Like the father. Why? Because there's way more story there. But if they cared about the stories that these characters had, then they would do it. And there are a lot of original Black characters in the Marvel Comics universe that can be brought out that they have not yet. And they would rather, and this is also a DC problem too, but since we're talking about this, they're just not putting the work behind it. And they'd rather give you these weird amalgamations. I mean, even in Netflix, what they did to Luke Cage, that's not Luke Cage. Sure, he's bald, powerful, I guess kind of looks like him, but as far as the storyline, they did something completely different. So when I look at how they treat the characters that are already there, that was already my cue that there was something going on with the way they view it. And guess what? It's not just, I'm not saying that it's everyone who has like a weirdness about it, but the creators of the movies and the series have an issue, and there's no push by Kevin Feige to go, we need to get these as close to the comic book as humanly possible. Like, he's not really telling them that, because if he was, then we wouldn't be getting what we're getting. And there's so many cool characters out there that being talked about. This is why I'm worried, because I'm hearing Storm, maybe, and Black Panther 3, and it kind of makes sense that they would introduce some of them now, because guess what? We just saw Jean Grey in Spider-Man, so it's very possible that we're going to get this as well too. But what will she be? Will she just be this uber powerful weather goddess, which is what they like to do? Or will this be someone of depth of character, which we see in the comics, where her powers are the smallest part of her as a human? Yes, she's greatly powerful, but her leadership skills, how she considers herself a mother to all mutants, there's so many things to her that we can get. But if they're just going to focus on her power and say that that's the most important part, and kind of like do the anime character treatment, which a lot of people just do, then I'm scared for what they're going to do with her and anybody else. Even Blue Marvel, they say, may come eventually. And it's like, what's that going to be like? That character also has depth to him. I wonder what they're going to reduce him to. And that's, I think, a real question, or a real conversation to have. Not how come they're taking two of these characters who were never Black to begin with and canceling their shows and trying to consider them. Stop it. Stop it. Let's not go there. Let's actually be realistic and talk about what they already have and what they should be doing going forward, especially if the X-Men are coming, or just mutants. There are a lot of like original Black characters that are mutants that are actually really cool. What are they gonna do with those? Okay? Let's have that conversation. Let me know what you want to contribute to it. Let's have that conversation. What storylines do you want to see coming up with any of the characters that we were just talking about in this video? What should they have done with Blade? Do you know anything else behind the cancellation? Let's talk about it. Enter the Nerd.